Hello, WordNerds! Happy 2018! Oh my god, here we go. Let's do it all over again, a new year. There is only a couple of us today. Desiree is going to be popping in and off. She's having some technical difficulties at the moment. We decided to start somewhat on time. Hopefully that can be a new tradition that we do this year.
We won't make any promises.
Resolution.
Do that. What would it be if we were like a little bit late, right? Come on, it's not actual WordNerds unless we're a little bit late. So anyways, today is just going to be a grand old party, and glad to have all of you here again for this first chat of the new year. We can probably go over some books that we liked, books we're looking forward to, maybe some writing goals, writery stuff. If you have any comments or writerly questions, just leave them down below and we will try to answer them all. So why don't we go through just like how we felt as over 2017, like how we felt we did with goals or reading or just however you feel in like the literary sense. It's like I felt like I did a lot of reading and it was great, but I felt like really good books were kind of far and in between. I didn't read anything super great this year, but I also did. Sorry, last year. I read something great already this year. Last year. And then like writing, I actually did quite a bit of writing in all our write-ins, so that was nice. Let me see. First person on my list on my left is Emma. So why don't you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, I felt pretty good about goals last year. I didn't meet my reading goal, but like it was 100, which was a lot. So
wow.
Yeah, so I ended up reading 80, I think, instead. So I'm okay with that because I think that's the same number I read in 2016. So at least I didn't read less than the year before. But I also kind of agree with Rachel. I mean, there were some books I really loved, but we were talking before the chat started that like I didn't really find a lot of fantasy that I really loved. A lot of fantasy just felt kind of like okay to me. Like it wasn't like bad, but I wasn't really invested in it a lot of the time. But I read a lot of really good contemporary last year. It was a really strong year for contemporary, I think. And writing was pretty good. I won Nano for the first time, so that was exciting. Yeah, it was really slow for like the middle portion of the year. I didn't get a lot of writing done, but it's like sprinted through the end of the year and accomplished my goals. So
awesome. Kelly, I have you next.
Last year was like a weird life year for me. Like there was just so much happening from like February straight till like moving in December. So I read a lot less than usual, but I finished my goal with the second time I reduced my Goodreads goal. I managed to hit that one with 50 books read with like 2 hours to spare. It was pretty close. And again, I didn't fall in love with a lot of books. Last year, all of the favorite books that I read were favorite books I'd read several times before. Like just ones that I already knew I was going to love, and I continued to love them. So that was a lot of fun. But yeah, good writing year, meh reading year. But I'm very much looking forward to
so many books.
Yeah, congratulations. I mean, and you got married and you moved.
I did that too. It wasn't that bad year last year.
Behind you.
It is. Matt put it up.
Oh, was that the WordNerd one?
Yeah.
Oh, so cute. Oh my gosh, you need to send us that photo.
Yes.
It's so cute.
Yeah, I meant to put my wedding pictures up, and now I never did, and now it's weird. So
when Emma got married, she posted hers like a year later.
My photographer didn't get the pictures to me until like a year later, so that was fun. Yeah,
my photographer's my cousin, so I can't be like, yeah, my photographer.
She's not invited to family gatherings anymore. The photos come too late.
Well, like a couple weeks after I got married, a friend of mine got married, and like by then I was like, I don't want to like overshadow the fact that she just got married by posting all of my wedding pictures, and I've seen them, so I'm fine.
You're like, yep, I did that.
I will post them at some point.
All right, and Megan.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like in the end, I think I hit my goals. Like I wanted to revise a book and write a book, or write 2 books and revise 1 book. My brain is all mixed up. I wanted to write 2 books, revise 1 book. And I did that, but I feel like I sort of cheated a little bit because in my head at the beginning of the year, I wanted to write 2 of my own books. And I ended up writing like 2 books with Kyra and 1 of my own books. So success but it feels only like medium success.
No,
I feel like two co-written
That's pretty,
books like equals one on your own book, you know?
Yes,
So,
that's pretty good.
I was in a really big slump for a lot of the year. And I, like Emma said, where it was like the middle chunk of the year, not a lot happened, and then like a lot happened at the end. And so I think that probably contributed to it. And also 2017 was just kind of meh. In general,
It was a bit of a dumpster fire year.
Yeah, just
And
a
watching
little
the
bit.
dumpster fire takes so much more brain power than you realize.
It really
Yeah, it
does.
does.
But overall, pretty good. I'm excited not to be in a huge writing or reading slump anymore. And hopefully that means I get a lot done in 2018 that I feel super hyped about and not just medium hyped about.
Medium hype.
That's true though. There's like certain things that you're like, I'm like so excited about this, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm excited about that.
It's all right. I'm not dreading it, you know.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, then, what are some of your favorite books of last year? I think there's gonna be a lot of discussion on this.
See, I came prepared for my books I'm looking forward to, but not my favorite books from last year.
Oh dear.
2018. Forget about that last year.
All right. No,
Yeah.
so we'll talk about this year first, then. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go back and forth. I don't know. 2018. What are some of your favorite books or books that you're looking forward to?
Here, Emma's covered for this.
Yeah, Emma, you go.
Look, yeah, I have a Goodreads bookshelf now for 2018 books, and I also just made a note card with the ones I'm most looking forward to. So I'm really ready because I can never remember any of it. No, there's a lot of stuff. I'm really excited for a lot of the 2018 fantasy. It all sounds like I'm gonna enjoy it more than some of 2017's fantasy. Really excited for The Bells.
Yes.
By Danielle Clayton. That looks amazing. And Dread Nation by Justina Ireland. And Heidi Heilig has a new book coming out.
Oh, she
For a Muse of
does?
Fire. Yeah, For a Muse of Fire is what it's called.
Ooh.
It involves like theater and magic and stuff.
Oh my god.
so.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very excited. I'm also excited for, I don't know if any of you have read Serafina by Rachel Hartman, but she has another book coming out that's set in the same world called Tess of the Road. So because I love the world of Serafina, so I'm excited to see more of that. And also, there's a lot of authors I'm just excited about new books coming out because Marie Rukowski, who wrote the Winter's Trilogy, has a new book coming out. And I know zero details about it, but I put it on my list because I was like, new Marie Rukowski book.
Cool. There's one I've been seeing all over Twitter for months, and it doesn't come out till like May or something. Children of Blood and Bone by Tanya Jenny. I want it so bad, and like, darn you, Twitter, for making me excited about it like 6 months in advance. Like I was like, oh sweet, like comes out like January. It's like, no, May. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the heck is this?
Yeah, Tommy and I were in the same year of Pitch Wars. And so I've been hearing about this book for years. I'm so ready to like buy it and then just hand it to everyone I see at the bookstore.
Actually, one book I was super excited for that already came out was The Cruel Prince by Holly Black, because everyone knows I love Holly Black. And it was,
oh my gosh, I saw Holly Black this week.
oh yeah, right, you did. And Susan Dennard. I was like freaking out when you said that Snapchat. How was it? What was it?
It was amazing.
Just a signing, or was it like an event, or?
Yeah, it was like Susan Dennard and Holly Black, they chatted for a little while about their writing processes and like their books. They talked for maybe like an hour, and then they did a signing afterwards. And Holly was just like so cool. And her hair is so blue. I just like was mesmerized by it. Yeah. They're both so successful and inspirational.
I do have to say that Cruel Prince is definitely the best she's ever written. She's definitely, I can see her getting better. Yeah, it was really good. I begged and pleaded and wheedled for an advance copy of it, and I ended up getting it like a week before, like it was like 2 days before we went on or before I wasn't working, like right before Christmas. So I just like grabbed it and just read it in like 2 days. It was really good. I can't wait for more of it because the end had so many small twists that I'm so excited for what it set up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but now I'm like, well, now I have to wait like another whole year.
Well, that's why, like, as I'm looking through like a 2018 YA list, I'm like, well, okay, what series finished this year? Because now I can start them. So,
True. Yeah, I know you're like waiting.
Yes, I'm excited because the paperback of the last Court of Fives book by Kate Elliott comes out this year. Because I own the other two books in paperback, and so I've just been waiting for the paperback of the third one because I was like, I want it to match. So I'm finally going to read it in like May, and I'm like, I just need the paperback to come out.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just too stubborn, so I'm like, I don't mind if something is mismatched, but I know some people are like super about it.
I just prefer to read paperbacks, so I would rather have those.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Susan Dennard, she has Sight Witch coming out next month.
Yes, February.
Excitement.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like epistolary books, so.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I just thought of another cool thing about Holly Black. She has her ears are pointed.
Yeah, she had the
I didn't know that. And then she like said it at the event.
Yeah, I think she had that done like a year ago.
I think I saw it on Instagram or something. It was like, like of course she did. Like, Holly Black went and did that.
It's a solid use of your writing money when you're that.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, a really good sequel that's coming out, and I want to just like put this out there. The sequel to Scythe by Neil Shusterman, which was like a cool dystopian Grim Reaper kind of book. The sequel Thunderhead came out, and I got an advance copy of it, and that comes out in January sometime. Not exactly sure what day, but that was one of the most amazing sequels I have ever read in my life.
Really?
Yes, it was so good, and there was so many twists. And I was reading it, I was finishing it as I was over at my friend's house, and so I'm just making all these noises and like extreme like exclamations, like "Oh, what's happening?" Like flailing around, like hitting him with the book. And he's like, "What is happening?" And I'm just like, "It's this thing in the guy. There's all this stuff." And just so it was a great book. So if anybody likes Grim Reaper-y things, check out Scythe, because Thunderhead was amazing.
And I've heard really good things about Scythe. And it either won something or was nominated for something like the National Book Award, or I can't remember now. Oh. It was in some way involved with one of those big awards a couple of years ago.
I did not know that, but it was cool.
Yeah. I want to say it was National Book Award that it was nominated for, maybe.
Oh.
Xander, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying, I know there's another book this month that comes out that's called, oh God, Let's Talk About Love.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Yeah, it's really good.
About with an ace main character, and I really want to read that. I think it comes out in 2 weeks. It sounds really interesting.
Xander F asked, anyone else pumped for the book to film adaptations coming this year?
Yes. Love Simon!
Simon. Yeah.
Oh my God. So excited. I fangirled with some random guy at the bookstore the other day for like 10 minutes over Simon. It was really exciting.
I'm so excited. And The Hate You Give.
Yeah.
Later in the year.
That would be a good year for adaptation.
To All the Boys I Loved Before. That's this year.
Really? Oh, yay!
I completely The Hate You Give was a book that I read pretty like really late in December, and it was great. So now I was kind of like following it on Twitter, just so I was like, now I can actually make connections on who's who, and just, I think it's gonna be good. It looks like it's gonna be really good. I'm getting my boyfriend to read it right now, and he really likes it.
People excited about Ready Player One, which I haven't read.
No, it's gonna be so good. Trailer looks so good. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I really like the trailer. I haven't read the book either, but like the trailer featured a video game character from the video game I'm currently obsessed with. Like they put it in as like it's Overwatch.
Yeah.
So I got so excited in the theater when I saw like a character I know in this like 80s nostalgia trailer. Like, oh, this is great. Maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah. I was like, can you hear us, Desiree?
Yes, I can.
Yay!
We're just talking about books and stuff we're excited for in 2018, and we're currently on the topic of...
I was watching while I was like trying to figure it out. I was watching it on my phone.
Okay. We're on movie adaptations, yes, okay. When I first saw the teaser trailer for Ready Player One, I was like, as someone that's read the book, I was so excited because it's like, oh, that's that, and that's that, and it's hinting to this. But as someone that's never seen it, I would be like, what is this? Like, this is so weird. But yeah, then the full trailer came out, and it just, it looks like it's gonna be really close to the book. It looks like it's gonna be really good. I'm so excited. Sorry, I'll calm down. I'm trying to calm down, but it looks like it's gonna be really good. I love that book.
Oh, I think The Darkest Minds is supposed to come out this year too.
Yeah,
I was like, I feel like there's something else.
I just saw the movie cover, and it looks really dope.
Yeah. I'm excited. I haven't read that book actually. I need to read it, but I'm excited
I
for the
read the
movie.
first one.
I only read the first one.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Weird.
Which is why
it was
that, like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
For me, it was like I read it when it like came out pretty shortly after, and so then I had to wait for the second one, and it was like everything dystopian was coming out, and I like it was just one that I didn't pick up the second one, and I waited too long, so now I have to reread the first one if I'm gonna read the second one.
Yeah. I feel like that, I think, yeah, it did come out in that wave of dystopians, and so I read it, was like, whatever, and then just never read the second one. I do remember liking most of it, though. I think I was kind of confused on some of the powers and was like, I don't get it, and just put it down. But I kept it all these years. Maybe I'll reread it.
Adaptations, and every day is getting a movie coming out next month.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
wait, next
wow.
month.
Next month,
I didn't realize it was that soon.
Is that
David Leviathan?
David. Oh, really? What?
Yeah, I had no
How?
idea. I hadn't heard about that at all.
Yeah.
How is that going to be a movie? Interesting. Okay.
I'm
I'm intrigued.
Rhiannon's perspective. What it's about, 16-year-old Rhiannon has fallen in love with a spirit that goes by the name A, which inhabits a different body every single day.
Oh, so it's a girl.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm curious how they'll do it.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be really interesting. You said it's coming out next month.
Yeah, 23rd of February.
Who's playing?
That's crazy.
I'm assuming it's like a small studio making
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I hope it's not like the same like type of studio that made like the Maximum Ride movie. Because that was like the letdown of my middle school like
See, for me, that was the Aragon movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was
So bad.
Yeah.
I was like, how do you mess up dragons this badly?
Dragons didn't even look that bad, but they still messed it up. Oh dear.
I'm also excited for A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh yes.
Yes.
I feel a little bit like I'm Oprah. I wish to make a movie, but other than that, I do think it looks pretty cool. That was such a big book of my childhood, so I'm really excited to see it in movie format.
We're really excited.
I read it in like the 5th grade, I think. And there was like 2 different groups. There was like the advanced readers who read A Wrinkle in Time, and then like the not advanced readers who read Among the Hidden. And they originally put me in the Among the Hidden group, and I was like, hey, can I read both? And my teacher was like, I guess. So I read Among the Hidden in like a day. And then I just read A Wrinkle in Time with the other half of the class.
Nice.
Nice.
I remember my 6th grade teacher reading A Wrinkle in Time out loud to the class, and that was like every day, after lunch or whatever, she'd read a couple chapters. I remember there's one point where I do think one of the kids gets kissed because they're like, I don't know, 13 or something, and then I remember the entire class giggling, and she like got kind of quiet as she was reading it, and just like a bunch of 12-year-olds, like, just whatever, but like, the part with the brain and like constantly like basketballs, like everyone sleeping their front porches at the same time. It's just so cool, and it's just that was a book that was like, I want more of that, and that's kind of how I started reading.
Yeah, it looks like a really cool adaptation because they're like definitely like adapting it and like changing it in some ways, and I think it's going to be really cool the way they do it.
And Mindy Kaling.
yes.
Although also I still really loved the like movie that they made in like the early 2000s. It's like really cheesy.
Yeah.
And the special effects are terrible, but it's so good.
Didn't know that existed. I need to go watch this.
Yeah, Disney made
Awesome.
it. It was like a direct-to-DVD thing or something.
Oh, perfect.
So good. Meg is so angry all the time.
Awesome.
We're getting a lot of questions about writing goals.
All right, let's do it.
Switch gears into that.
Let us switch. What are some of these writing questions you speak of?
So we've had a question if any of us have any new projects we're excited to work on in the coming year. And also just like, what are your main writing goals for the new year?
I haven't figured it out yet, which is really weird for me. Like, I don't know yet.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry. It's fine. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, I'm currently like switching back and forth between revising the book I finished during Nano and like plotting and gathering ideas because I'm not even really ready to plot yet, but like figuring out my next project. So like my main goals are just to revise this one and draft the other one. So yeah, that goes.
Right on.
Woo. I just had a character come to me the other day, so now I want to put him in something, and I don't know what. But some kind of Winter King. I want to put him in something. I just don't know what it is yet. So we'll see what I end up writing this year, if he gets put into anything.
I'm already intrigued by that.
Yes.
Just the word Winter King.
Tell me more.
My goal, it's more like a first half of the year goal instead of like a whole like year writing goal. And that is to finish Rough Draft without getting distracted by something else. Because it's really starting to annoy me that it keeps happening.
That is a solid goal.
Yes. Is that pirate story or is it a different one?
Just
okay.
Wrong question.
I want to read it. It's cool.
A rough draft of one of my, I don't know, like 12 halfway written something. I'm not gonna get a new idea. I'm just gonna go back to my half-written manuscript graveyard on my desktop. And I think I'm gonna do like a Russian roulette of just pick one and just finish it.
That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Flip a coin or roll a 6-sided die or something.
Yeah.
It's a good plan.
Yeah.
Definitely consider that in my own goals.
Yeah, I like Kelly, I like haven't set any hard goals yet, which is very weird for me. I need to revise, I guess, the book I wrote for Nano, but to do that I'm gonna have to rewrite it, and that seems like a lot of work. But I did get an idea that I'm very excited about over Christmas break. I was visiting with my family, and my brother is in college, and I came home and he was watching The Bachelor. And like, that's not a normal activity for my brother. I was like, what are you doing? And he informed me that all of his roommates were doing a bracket for The Bachelor, and they were going to have like a celebration for whoever won. And so I ended up stuck with my brother watching like half of an episode of The Bachelor. And I support you if you love it, but it was not for me. And I wanted to die watching. It was a lot, and I hated him. And I wanted to write a book that was The Bachelor, where you got to kill the Bachelor at the end. So,
dude, that's pretty cool.
Really cool.
That
sounds really
Murder
cool.
Bachelor in space,
A murder bachelor in space.
where this girl is
Someone told me
competing in
that's what the
like.
book was about. I'd be like, done, I'm buying it.
And so that's the idea I'm most excited about for this year.
Amazing.
Also, I think it's really funny that him and his roommates watch The Bachelor because he goes to the same university that Megan and I went to, and we knew guys who were obsessed with The Bachelor and The Bachelorette in college.
About that.
I don't know what it is about the boys at that school, but
Amazing.
I love those shows. It's like I think they start watching them ironically, and then they end up enjoying them.
Yeah. That works. That is how I watched 7 or 8 years of Pretty Little Liars. Like, I watched that whole thing because I wanted to make fun of it the first season.
You get sucked in, right?
I had to know who A was.
7 years later.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I got into like Vampire Diaries, because I got into it like way after everybody else did. Because I remember my friends like watching it like in middle school and like the beginning of high school and loving it. But it was like, I think like my freshman year of college, or like whenever it first got on Netflix, I was like, I guess I'll watch it like ironically. You know, it's probably terrible. You know, 4 seasons later, here I am. Just
Like 8 hours
Yeah,
later.
right. I shunned it at first, being like, no, it's stupid. And then like years later, yeah, I think I was over at my friend's house and she had it playing in the background, and I was like, It was like the finale of the 4th season or something, and I was like, okay. 'Cause I'm like trying to explain like who people are because she wanted to watch it. So then I was like, all right. And then I went home and just like watched the whole thing. Damn you, CW shows. Like,
Yeah. They're always like that.
We had a question. It was way up at the beginning. Where did it go? Davis Hicks asked, question, trying out fantasy, world building tips. I have a good feel for scenery, but very little in terms of society or history.
well, I know that there are multiple forums online that if you like lists and organization, you can go and look up. Like literally, if you Google like top 50 world building things or something or other, you can get lists of questions that will help you flesh out your world. Like, you know, where do people live? Where do rich people live? Where do people, where do people die? Like, what is the sanitation like? Like all that kind of thing. And that helps you kind of plan it out a little bit more.
Yeah.
But if you start with something like that, it will kind of unfold in your head from there.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I find like now those things aren't as useful for me, but when you're starting out with like fantasy world building, it can help you to just get your like mind working and thinking about things.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's another
figuring out like what it is you need to know about your story, because some of that stuff you're not going to need to know about your story, but it'll at least help you get started.
Yeah.
There's another vlogger, author, Jenna Moresi, who we all think is hilarious. She just put out a couple videos on world building.
Yeah, they were really good.
The cyborg.
I put a link in the discussion section to what I think most people would agree is the most thorough world building questionnaire. It's from like the fantasy, science fiction and fantasy writers of America website or whatever. Yeah. And I'll get a link right now to Jenna's YouTube channel as well and put it there as well.
That world building list is like super long.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember the first time I wanted to like write fantasy, like I'm like the very first time I had to been like maybe like 14 or something like that. I was like, this is how people do world building, and I clicked on it and I was like, I'm overwhelmed, I have to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The questions just keep coming.
I usually find that I'll do like just the customs section or something, and that usually makes me feel confident enough to dive in and actually start writing. And then maybe in revisions or something, I go through and try and figure out the more intense details.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get bogged down in them while I'm doing the first draft.
And I'd say, like, to start with, you probably like at least want to know like a basic idea of the political structure. Like, is it a monarchy? Like, what is it? Like the magic system, how is that going to work? And like the like culture and society, like, is it all one group of people or is it multiple cultures that all live in the same place? And like the power structures between them, you kind of want to have like an idea of that, because that's going to like, your story will like touch on those things the most. Things like, how does the sewer system work? You may not need to know for your book. So.
We had another question, writing related, from Roscoe Rose. Any tips on writing darker chapters? I wrote a dark ending to a chapter for their fan fiction, and I'm curious how to keep that dark theme up.
I don't write super dark stuff, so.
The time that I wrote dark stuff, I was in a really dark mood for a long time. So, because I was a moody, depressed teenager and I wrote a lot of dark stuff. But now I'm happier, so it's kind of harder to write dark stuff.
I'm happy, but I still write a lot of dark stuff.
I don't know. No, ask Megan. She's happy.
I was waiting for Megan to answer.
I think one of the keys for particularly dark stories is that you have to, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, consistently make your characters make choices that will hurt themselves and or other people more than a book that might have a lighter hero. Make them confront things that are darker, things that some people might think are not right. and like show, if your character is a hero, then you need to show them dealing with those really, really dark situations, trying to do the right thing, trying to hurt the least amount of people, but still ending up hurting people, and them like having to deal with those repercussions at the end of every chapter. If your character is an anti-hero, obviously that will be different because they will be making more choices with less regard for the impact to people around them and thinking more about the impact just to themselves. But I think both are really fun to play with, and you just have to keep pushing them up against these things that don't always have easy answers.
I definitely, when I am reading something darker, I want to see how the character is responding to the darkness in the story. So make sure you don't overlook that. Like, you don't want it to just be like, oh, a bunch of dark stuff happening. Like, your character needs to be reacting to it. Just like if you have a character death, like you need to see like the grieving of other characters. And with any darkness, it's like that, where you need to see how it's like impacting them emotionally.
Mm. Sorry, I just got a note saying the world building questionnaire link wasn't working, so I'm getting a new link that does work. So that should take you to the right page now. We had another question. Oh, we had a question from CC Gillings or Gillings. My apologies for probably mispronouncing it one of those times. They said, main writing goal is trying to complete a manuscript for Pitch Wars this year. Is anyone else trying out Pitch Wars? I don't know if any of you guys are, but I'm a huge supporter of Pitch Wars. It's amazing. You should all do it if that's your kind of thing. But it's great, and I loved it, and it worked great for me.
Yeah. I'd also say to anyone who is considering Pitch Wars, like, always remember that it's not a guarantee of like getting a book deal or an agent or having a success, like a huge success. And it's also not necessary for those things. So like, don't think of it as like your only option. Like, I have to get into Pitch Wars or else I'm never going to get published. Because I think some people see it that way. Like, contests are the only way to get an agent. And that's not, like, querying works too. So, but also good luck with Pitch Wars because it is really awesome and it helps a lot of writers.
We had fellow word nerd Erin, who is not here because she just had a human come out of her. Wow.
We have a small word nerd now.
Yes. But she was in Pitch Wars back in 2014. Did not get an agent that way, even though she like won for middle grade and ended up cold querying. And her book is coming out in a month and like 6 days.
Yes.
Yes.
Very exciting. I get to be like, I know her.
Yeah.
I know her. She's my friend.
But if you are thinking about doing Pitch Wars, and that's like a goal you have for this year, that's like that you're thinking about it right now is incredible. I feel like having these 8 months is like the perfect amount of time to get something ready without feeling like crunched and rushed.
Challenge accepted.
Yes.
Back to that manuscript graveyard.
Yes.
Ellie asked, are you all going to do Camp Nano this year?
Probably.
Yeah.
Debatable. It depends.
I'm sure I will be working on something during those months, so I can set a goal for whatever it is.
Mhm.
That's a great thing about camp. I love that you can like set whatever goal you want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back to a different type of online classes, so perhaps if I work my butt off in the previous months, I can have a month off
Yeah.
to write all of the things. Shall see.
Mm.
It will be fun.
It's always useful to have.
No, I've never actually fully participated in any of the nano activities, so I think it'd be kind of fun. We'll do it this year.
Yay. Yay. We had a couple questions about when/what is Pitch Wars. So I guess we'll jump back to that really quick. Pitch Wars is a writing contest where you submit a query letter and your first chapter to mentors who they then like go through it like an agent would, and they select one person to work with. and they mentor you for 2 months. So back when I did Pitch Wars, I worked with Lynette LaBelle, who is an assistant agent now, and Destiny Cole, who is an agented author. And they walked me through, helped me fix some huge problems in my book. And just like worked with me on it again and again for 2 months. And then there's an agent round at the end where you get to show off your pitch. It goes on the Pitch Wars website, and agents look over and make requests. And while it's not a guarantee that you will get an agent from it, a lot of people do. About 50% from our year have agents now. So it's definitely one of the biggest or like most well-known writing contests. Brenda Drake is amazing and just a delight to work with. It usually happens around August. Like the first or second week in August is when the submission window is. If you just Google Pitch Wars, it will come up, or you can go to Brenda Drake's website, brenda-drake.com, and it'll have all the information you need there. But it's really great. And if you're looking for something like that, it's especially great, I think, if you're really nervous about submitting and you've never submitted to anything before. I subbed to Pitch Wars back in 2014 before I ever even had the courage to query agents, because it's just like a really fun, nice way. Everyone is kind. It's amazing. I just talked so much.
You did a good job. It was very explanatory.
We had a question about if Into the Void is out in paperback, / if it will be coming out in paperback.
Yes. Not yet. It was almost, but I've had so many issues with it, I had to start fresh on formatting it. So this month, hopefully.
Yay.
We had a couple questions about Kyra. Jody asked if Kyra is an official word nerd. Kyra is our recurring guest word nerd. Sometimes she is here, but sometimes she is very deep in a PhD program. And so she has a standing invitation to come join us, but is not always going to be here.
Yeah. Probably won't see as much of her this year as you did last year.
Yeah.
She's going to be really busy this year. So. Working and traveling and studying and being amazing.
Yes. And then Ellie asked if Kyra and I are going to be publishing our co-written stuff soon, which we'll see what happens. We're still revising. If we ever get out of the revisions cave, we have to decide what to do with it.
They're having too much fun with this book. They don't want to share it with everyone else.
It will definitely, whether we try to go traditional or self, we're going to publish it at some point. So
can't wait.
Jody asked writing craft book recommendations.
I still haven't finished it, but I recommend Wonder Book to everybody because it's so cool.
I got it for Christmas.
Oh, really?
I'm so excited.
I actually finally used all of my, I got a bunch of Indigo gift cards for my wedding.
Yeah.
2 days ago and got a bunch of screenwriting books because that is going to be my pet project for 2018. Learning how to do that.
The great thing about writing craft books is that there are a lot of books about different subjects. So look into the things that you want to learn about. If you're really interested in story structure, Save the Cat is a really standard book about structure. It's focused on screenplays, but it can be applied to any kind of story. If you want like Stephen King's On Writing is more of a memoir where he also talks about his writing advice. And that's another good option.
That's a really good one.
There's a lot of good ones now.
Yeah.
I can't think of
especially
any
on Kindle Unlimited.
Yeah.
It's when someone's what do you recommend? It's you know what? I can't remember anything right now.
Yeah, it depends on what you're looking for. I really like Chuck Wendig's list books on writing, but they're mostly funny more than anything. Of oh, as a writer, I sympathize with how terrible this is.
I think the caveat is also that every writing book is going to be subjective because it's going to be about that person and their opinions and how they do things. So I think sometimes like early on in your career, there's a tendency to like read a bunch of blogs and writing advice books and be like, I have to apply all of this advice. Some of it's not going to work for you. So
Yeah, for sure.
and also, if you can't like afford to buy writing craft books, there are like a ton of blogs out there by different like published authors.
And YouTube videos.
Yeah, and YouTube videos. So there's a lot of stuff out there that isn't just in writing craft books.
Were you waiting for me to continue? I was gonna say a really good one about outlining is "Take Off Your Pants" by Libby Hawker.
So great.
I want to read that one.
It's so good.
Ellie mentioned in the discussion section Beth Revis's Paper Hearts books, which I'm going to second. Those are amazing. And Beth just came out with a workbook to go with them.
Yeah, I just heard about this today. She did a YA Writers subreddit like Q&A thing about how she promoted them. I was reading through that, and now I want to get the workbook.
Yeah. I am also a huge, huge fan of The Anatomy of Story by John Truby. The most in-depth book on writing I have ever read, and it like changed my life and how I look at stories. He makes fun of 3-act structure a little bit, which hurt me a little bit because I love 3-act structure, but it challenged me to think deeper than just the 3-act, and I can still love it in spite of that. But it's great. Jada R says that Wonderbook has a revised version coming out in July.
Oh no!
I just got mine.
R.I.P. my bank account.
That's the thing. Like I hadn't finished reading it. Now do I just like not? And what do I do?
Everything you know is now irrelevant.
Not a like craft book, but like a writing resource book that I think like nearly everyone should have is the Emotion Thesaurus, because it's really helpful.
So useful.
Yeah.
Last time that we talked about this, I said it as well, but in case any of you weren't watching, One Stop for Writers, if you subscribe, you get access to all of their thesauruses and all of their like writing tools, and so it's
Yes, I need to do that.
it is a little pricey, like you're paying almost the same for that as you are for Netflix, but maybe just have like one crazy month where you learn everything.
Take screenshots.
Or like have it while you're revising. Like I know a lot of us who are querying, we got like subscriptions to Publishers Marketplace just for while you're like querying, so you can do the necessary research.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. They have 14 thesauruses. So
that's a lot.
And they keep coming out with more, and they're all amazing.
And not terribly expensive either. So.
Yeah. But the price of the subscription is less than it would cost to physically buy one. So
yeah. We had a question. Where did it go? From V Wilder. Any advice for newbie YouTubers?
Just start.
Yeah.
Yes, consistency is huge. Whether pick a day, pick a week, whatever. Like, do one video a week. I'd start with one. It's difficult to do more than one.
It's really hard.
Yeah. You're like, oh, it's totally fine. Like, I can do 2, I can do 3 a week, and then you're like, oh no, I can't.
I always think I can on my personal channel, and it's always a mistake.
Yeah.
I never can.
Also,
yeah, I'd say like pick like one day of the week that you're going to put up a video, because you want it to be the same day. Because you want to be super consistent, because people will like see your pattern and they'll be like, okay, I go to this person's channel on this day and there will be a video. And if you like post one video on a Tuesday and then you don't post anything for 3 weeks, and then you do another video on like a Thursday and then it's another couple weeks, like people won't know when you're going to post, and so they will stop like coming to your channel. And also try and create your content like ahead of time. So like if you're going to do videos every Tuesday, like don't film them Tuesday afternoon, like film like a few videos all at once. So that you can just like have them ready to go.
I love batch viewing. I love batch filming. It's the best.
Because you only have to do your makeup once if you wear makeup.
Oh, I just like look at like this is I'm like, oh, it's a secret. Like I'll just like go and like do my hair and like put on a different color lipstick.
I just
and then get
changed
up
my
and put on a different
shirt.
color lipstick, change your shirt, yeah, like come back and get right and do another video. Pick something with decent lighting, like in front of a window or something. And don't don't think that you have to plan everything perfectly before you start. Just start. Even if your first video is like 20 minutes long and you're just rambling, like just start. Because I've had so many friends be, and myself included actually, be like, oh no, like I have to script out this perfect video and I have to mention this, this, and this, and I can't do it until my background's perfect and I have this sort of camera and I have this lighting system and I have like all this stuff. And so you're just never going to do it. And I'm guilty of that. And then eventually I just started. And once you start, like then you can work your way and like, you know, figure out like what you like, but just make sure to just go for it.
And like Rachel kind of just mentioned, like don't like worry about getting a bunch of like equipment, especially for vlogging at first. Like you don't have to go out and buy a really fancy camera and like lighting and like editing software, like really expensive stuff. Like start with like low end stuff to make sure that it's something you want to keep doing and that you enjoy doing, because you don't want to put a ton of money into it and then like realize a couple months in that you don't actually enjoy doing it. So and you can successfully vlog with lower end equipment and stuff, especially when you're starting out.
Yeah, I started off with my iPhone, and like sometimes if I'm vlogging, I'll just use my phone. So it's
phones have surprisingly good camera quality. Like it kind of shocks me.
Make sure if you're using your phone that you turn it landscape.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you sit in front of a window, your lighting will be better than any fancy lighting you could possibly pay for.
Yeah.
So
you'll get super weird looks if your window looks out onto a street.
you get over that though.
Don't worry about it. It's fine. They'll never be fine.
If you don't have like a window that's like facing the sun or whatever, once you decide you like it, you can get like photo lights for like $25 on Amazon.
Really?
Yeah, that's where my lights came from.
Nice. Actually, right now I'm using let's see, I'm going to unclip it. I'm using, because it's very dark here, because it gets dark here at like 4 o'clock now. I have a it's a little selfie phone light.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
You flip it onto your phone and it's supposed to give you good lighting. I now, because my family loves me, got me a beautiful ring light for Christmas. But because it's dark here and my computer isn't very bright, I just clip that onto my computer and now you can see me better. But I used to use that and I still do. Like I just like pull my window shades up and I put that little one on my camera to like fill in some of the side. And that was it. And before I didn't even have that. I just used normal window light. And now I have a nicer, bigger light that I'm using and still trying out, and it's just it's really exciting. But yeah, I got like my little selfie light for like what was it? It was like $12 or something. It's great.
Yeah. So just go for it. The world needs more bookish YouTubers.
Yes. And the YouTube community is so nice, especially the BookTube community is really, really awesome.
Truth. We had a question about doing edits in the new year. Davis asked, how do you start editing if you know a major change is happening either in character development or plot? Where is the best place to begin that process? Is crying the right answer? That is where I begin all major edits.
I think I would mark major scenes that you want to really overhaul. It's a better word.
Yeah.
Like I'd mark them and be like, this is what I want to change from it, but I would start at the very beginning, just because then you know what you want it to, like how you want it to, what's the right word? Like how you want it to change as you go. So
yeah, it also depends on if you're going to be completely rewriting it, like you're going to start with a blank document and chapter 1 and write completely new words, or if you're going to be taking what you have and like changing certain scenes. That will make a difference. So like with the revisions I'm doing right now, like some of the scenes I'm just keeping the same, or I'm like just tweaking a few things, but I also have like very new scenes I'm writing or scenes that I'm completely rewriting. So like I made a note card for every scene that I like currently had in my first draft, and then I went through and marked like which ones I'm going to delete, I made like new cards in like a certain color of index card that were like, these are new scenes or these are like replacement scenes, that way. And like some of them I just have like sticky notes being like, change this thing in the scene. And to do that, I read through it first so that I'd like know what I had and what I needed to change. So yeah, it just kind of depends on what level of changes you're doing.
Yeah, I am also a big fan of making note cards for every chapter. And then if I know like there's one really big thing that I'm changing, maybe I'm like totally changing my character's arc, or maybe I changed my magic system or whatever, then I will go through and just, to start with, to make it seem a little more palatable, I'll just stick a Post-it note on the note card if something happens in that chapter that will be affected by the change. And I like to like red, yellow, and green it, like how severe is the change going to be? Like, am I going to have to rewrite the whole chapter? Is it just small tweaks? And I just go one by one down the note cards, like, okay, this one's going to need a major overhaul. This one's going to need a little bit. This one's going to need a major. And then I can go through and then I write down, once I figured out which scenes are going to have changes, then I go through and figure out like, okay, well, what is the change that has to happen? Like, how do I plan this out? Because I find having a game plan makes it a lot less intimidating. Like if I know exactly what I'm doing going in, then I can do it. If I don't, then I'll just sit there and be sad.
Yeah. It also helps, like, I feel like organizing and having that game plan helps, and also compartmentalizing helps me some too, because it's like if my brain's trying to like think about multiple different aspects of the story that I'm changing all at once, I'll just get overwhelmed. So like right now I'm like focusing on like plot and structural changes, and then I'm going to go through and like focus on like some of the character changes, because yeah, I'll just get overwhelmed if I try to do all. So if you know there's multiple big things you're going to change, I would like take them like one at a time, maybe.
We had a question from Miranda. One of the aspects of WordNerds live chats I adored during Nano was the guided word sprints. Does anyone know of any other channels where those are still happening? We do those here once a month. I believe also Tamara Woods is still doing word sprints on her channel. I'm not sure of the frequency.
Tamara, if you're in the comments, tell us, because sometimes she's in the comments of me. Speak up.
I know this isn't only YouTube, but I know a lot of authors on Twitter will do it. Like yes. I know Susan Dennard and Adam Silvera, I know do it a lot.
Yeah.
So just
Bardugo was running some on Instagram.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot about that. And Saba Tahir, I know, does some things. I don't know if she does like word sprints, but I know she'll do like editing stuff. I don't know. So just subscribe to a bunch of people on Twitter. Subscribe, follow. What's the Twitter word for it? Follow?
Follow.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm not sure of any YouTube channels aside from us and Tamara that do them consistently. Nano will probably do them again come all the camp nanos. So you can keep an eye out for those then as well. And if you want more, you can do them too. More YouTubers.
Yay.
Yay.
More YouTubers, 2K18.
Hashtag.
We had a question from N. Griswold. Have any of you read Revising Your Novel First Draft to Finish Draft by Janice Hardy? Would you recommend it, or do you have any other books on revision suggestions?
I haven't read that, but I feel like I've looked at her website before or something. Oh yeah, she does Fiction University. Yeah. I was like, her name sounds familiar. So yeah, I've read a lot of her like structure stuff on Fiction University, but I haven't read the book.
Yeah, I trust her though, so I trust the book is good.
Yeah.
I have read Self-Editing for Fiction Writers, and that one was really good, particularly if editing is really daunting. They do a very good job of like breaking down everything. And also, this is not a book, but Susan Dennard's website has an incredible breakdown. It's free. Susan Dennard is amazing. I love her. She's my hero. If she ever sees this, I'm going to be embarrassed.
Like, how much did you fangirl when you went and saw her?
Oh my God. I was sitting there, I was like, I know Holly Black is here too, but Susan. she's like the reason I know how to revise. So it was emotional.
I think Susan's revisions method works so well because she like has a science background. She was a marine biologist for a long time, and so she's very organized and is really good about like breaking things down into smaller parts. So it's like really useful because I think sometimes some like creative people don't know how to like do things scientifically like that. So it's really helpful to like see that other side of the brain working.
And yeah, I love that because I am a firm believer that everything can use science, and creative endeavors are not exempt from that. And so I love that it's very like, no, if you do these things, you will have a better book.
Let's see, we've been going about an hour. Any final questions there? Or anything people want to add?
There was a question that I was saving for the end because I figured it was a good like, yay, 2018 is starting, but I believe it was Vanessa asked about book club books for this year.
Yes.
Quarter book club books, if you wanted to.
Oh my gosh, I have to remember what they are.
I don't know either.
This month we're reading Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah.
Yes. I do have the list written down. Let me just go grab it.
I didn't even know that we. Yeah, I'm like looking to like.
I got the illustrated one for Christmas.
Me too.
Yeah, and I got the Sorcerer's Stone illustrated for my birthday.
Oh,
and,
nice.
Then I got Chamber of Secrets for Christmas, both from my awesome boyfriend who apparently knows me very well.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I went to Barnes and Noble because I wanted to get the illustrated first Harry Potter book to send to Erin for the baby, and they stopped making it.
Really?
What?
Yeah, I was like, do you have the first one? And the guy was like, I've put in orders, but I don't know if they're gonna fulfill them.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, they're still here in Canada.
I'm pretty sure I saw some at Walmart like the other day. If I find it, I can send it to you, Megan, if you need a copy.
I have my own copy.
You have your own copy, okay.
Yeah, I have my own. I was gonna send one to Erin, but I got her a different book instead because they didn't have it.
I just the other day I found this. Well, I found this at the thrift store, and I had to pick it up because it was really beautiful. And I found an original hardcover, original UK edition hardcover of
the US edition, actually.
Sorry, US edition. Sorry, of the first Harry Potter. So I bought it. There's an inscription of it too from like 2000. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's I love when books have inscriptions. So it's nice.
So I
don't have the big beautiful one, but I do have the gold.
Okay, so yeah, January is Harry Potter and Chamber of Secrets. So if you haven't read that yet, you should definitely get on that.
Very important.
There will be spoilers.
On a book that came out in 1998. Then in February, we are reading One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus, which is an outstanding book. You should definitely read that. And these are all really great books. But and then in March, we are reading Winter Song by S.J. Jones, which is great timing because the second book comes out in February, I think. So read them both.
I hope Kyra's going to be there because Kyra and I definitely had a fangirl session over reading. So.
I have feelings about this.
Well, okay, so when she first, I don't remember which one of us finished it first. I think it might be me. But she sent me a Snapchat of when she finished the book, and she was just like so angry. She was like, "What?" Like from the ending, she's like, "What happened?" And then she sent me a picture of the books standing in a corner, and she's like, "Now think about what you did." because she was so upset.
And yeah, an important thing to know about Winter Song is that there is a sequel to it, which the three of us did not know when we read it. Because I read it a little bit after you guys, and I finished it, and I was like, has anybody read this book? Because I'm really upset about it. And then I like did a bunch of digging and found out that there like was a second book, because it wasn't marketed as having a second one. And I think even originally, like the Goodreads description said that it was like a companion novel, not a sequel. And I was like, what?
Yeah, what?
And then like JJ like confirmed that it was a sequel, so there is one. So the rest of you are lucky in that you will know that when you read it.
Yes.
It's very distressing when you don't know there's another book.
Yeah. Is the sequel out already?
It comes out in February.
Excellent.
Shadow Song. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. Very exciting.
I don't like waiting.
Yeah. I think it's gotten a starred review already, so we'll see.
Oh.
We had someone ask if any of the book club books are dark. Chamber of Secrets, not so much.
No. I haven't read
Us
those.
is lying, probably.
One of
It's
us
kind of
lying is
Club
like
with murder.
with a teenager dying, so there is that.
yeah.
And then Winter Song had some dark bits in it.
Yeah.
It was
Winter
like
Song's kind of like a
beautiful
dark
dark.
romance.
It had like a Phantom of the Opera kind of vibe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Kind of dark, but like
yeah.
also kind
It's
of like romantic dark.
yeah, it's like sort of got some David Bowie Labyrinth vibes because it's like a goblin.
Yeah, definitely. But not as fabulous.
Yeah. Not as fabulous because I mean, who could be as fabulous as David Bowie?
Come on.
But also, yeah, some like Phantom of the Opera. I know she pitched it as Labyrinth meets what's that movie? It's like the movie about Mozart, Amadeus. I think that's because it's also got a lot of music because the main character is a musician. So
Yes.
it's very it's very cool.
It's lovely.
Very lovely. But yeah, a little bit dark.
All right.
Okay. Well, then I guess we'll just wrap this up. There are book club picks. Make sure you read them. And thank you for everyone that joined us today in the first live chat 2018. That was fun. Talked about books and writing and all that jazz. So here's to another year of also talking about books and writing and all that jazz. And today is officially the first day that we are off our hiatus. So tomorrow we shall bring you a new weekly video. What? New videos every day of the week?
Every day.
We are back to daily videos. That sounds better. So make sure to keep your eyes out for that. And we will see you all next Sunday. Goodbye, nerds.